Hey, Les Paul Forum, this is
Hi.
Tom Allen. We're down here at the Beachland Ballroom with JD Simo.
Good to see you, man. Thanks for coming. I guess we'll talk about some equipment. I've got this 55 Telly that I'm playing quite a bit. I've been experimenting because I've been playing a lot more slide on this guitar. Right now I've got pure nickels on it, but I've been putting flat ones on it a lot too, because I really like the way that sounds. The tone control is not wired to this anymore, which makes this a little brighter.
Oh, so it's just wired to the
Yeah, it's
bridge
just
pickup.
wired to the bridge, which I usually leave like almost halfway down. But this is an early 55, so it's still got a blackguard pickup in it. It doesn't have the raised pole piece pickup in it, and it's got a really good neck. And this thing's been through the war. This came out of St. Louis, and I've really been enjoying playing Telecaster again quite a bit. And as a alternate to the main guitar I'm playing, I've got this 59 345, which I really love. I've been playing this a lot this year. It's got a real good neck profile, and it's been mono. The Veritone's actually been taken out of it, and it's out of phase in the middle, which I really like.
Oh, cool.
And I really love playing this guitar. This thing's really fun to play. And then the main guitar is my old 335 I've had for a long time, red.
How long have you been playing that one?
Oh, I don't know. I guess I've had it probably 5 or 6 years now. But when I got it, it was pretty new, and I've gone through phases because I played the burst some. I've got that 60 burst that I play a lot, but I kind of lately went back to this after not having played it in heavy rotation for a while, and it's just, this is really home for me. This is a guitar that kind of changed my life, and had a Bigsby at one point, and I took that off, and I really I like not having the pickguard anymore because I really like putting my hand down here. So I took the pickguard off, I don't know, a couple months ago in the middle of the last tour.
Well, that covers one of our questions then. Pick guard on, pick guard off, all the things that...
I think it should just be what feels comfortable. I mean, for me it's more like I like putting my hand down here. I like gripping like with the side of my hand, and so on this guitar, the pickguard is off and is going to stay off. But it's pretty beat up.
Is that helpful for your right-hand slide technique for muting?
Yeah, I guess so. But more, I think it's because I played so many years. I played Telecasters, and I kind of got used to kind of anchoring down by the bridge. That now it's just kind of more comfortable for me. So, but this is my girl, and I love her to death.
And Gibson's doing a run of...
Yeah, well, we just finished. They did a limited run of custom shop ones that sold out really quick, and now we're just in the process of finishing the prototype up for the production run that Memphis is going to do. Memphis is going to do a full production run of them later this year or early next year, something like that. And we're working on a couple of different kind of features on that one, so it'll actually be more of kind of a, it'll have some other options than like a normal 335. I just sent the first prototype from Memphis back because I wanted to change a couple of things, so we'll see where it ends up in the end, but it's a huge honor, obviously.
Yeah.
And pickup wise on that, trying to get it as close as I can get, and the neck profile to be close. I do a lot of wiggling with this, with the neck, and this has got a real nice and stable neck, but it wiggles quite a bit, where it almost sounds like it got a vibrato on it.
Yeah, right.
And I love that because this is the only guitar really that I have that can do that. So that's kind of the main ones for this run. This is an old 62 Dove. This thing's got like, I've never seen a Dove with that much.
I can catch the flame
I
on
don't know if you
that.
can catch it, but
see it with the eye, but the camera's
Yeah,
not really
this
getting
thing's this thing. There's another acoustic I really like that I've been playing a lot. Those Waterloos that Collings makes
Yes.
now.
Mhm.
Those things are killer. I mean, for a new guitar, it's pretty outstanding. I think it's pretty. I was pretty knocked out. I've played a whole bunch of them, and I got a black one that's ladder braced that I really like because I've really gotten into that a lot here lately. So that's that. And then as far as the rig is concerned, you know,
that's the big news.
my massive pedal board down there.
There it is.
There it is, folks. We got. And actually, you know what? This is cool to talk about because this is actually a new one. This is one of their Dunlop's Clyde McCoys, and I got that in New York because I went to. We were playing the Mercury Ballroom in New York on this last tour, and I had left all my wah-wahs at home, and I walked around the corner to Ludlow Guitars in New York, and just because I wanted to see what they had. And they had one of those, and my friend Brian from Dunlop had been telling me about it, but I just kind of went, whatever. I just, for whatever reason, just didn't pay no mind. But they had one in there, and I plugged it in there, and I was like, wow, this actually does sound kind of like I want, because I have a lot of old vintage ones, you know. And this thing's great, so I bought it, because I was like, all right. And now since then, I've gotten a bunch more, because they're great, but which is great. So, you know, it's nice. There actually is a new wah that I think is pretty good. So that's one of the new ones. And then just the foot switch for the deluxe reverb. And yeah, I guess, well, you say the big news.
Yeah. Well, that's one of the biggest changes, I think,
In general.
Yeah.
Well,
going from the Marshalls.
yeah. Well, no, the thing is with the Marshalls, we were in Europe on the last European tour, and I just was feeling really, really boxed in by, you know, like the tone was really good. It was incredible. It was like that monumentally, you know, like the thing that all those guys that are huge heroes of mine all use. But it was really creatively. It was kind of. I don't know. I felt like I was kind of being held in this one particular space because I couldn't, because you can get them to do multiple different things, you know, and you can get them to be clean and all that kind of stuff, but it just kind of, I don't know, I was just feeling really kind of creatively boxed in by it, and I wanted something that was going to force me to kind of push beyond that, if that makes any sense.
Sure.
Back in my club days in Nashville and my session days, I had multiple deluxe reverbs, but I ended up I went through like two relatively quickly, and then I found this one, and this thing, like every night for, I mean, you know, 1,300 shows with this club band I played in Nashville, and then every day when I was doing sessions every day, there was, you know, I always have multiple amplifiers with me with my cartage and stuff, you know, but I'd always have my gig bag with my Telecaster, and I'd always bring this in with me, and then like whatever I would end up using that day when it was time at 5 o'clock for me to head down to the club, I'd take the Telecaster and take this out with me, you know, and all the rest of my stuff would go with the cartage, you know, but this was always with me. So I'd never really used it with our band, because when we formed, I was kind of wanting to get away from all that, because I was kind of burned out on that, because I'd done it so much, you know? And so when we were in Europe, and I was feeling this kind of like restlessness of wanting to change, wanting to try something different, I thought, man, you know, what if I tried that, you know? I wonder if it would work. So I got home, and we were home for one day, and then we started a run. We started in Louisville, and I got an old Showman cab from my friend Tom Bukovac that I put this on top of, and I ran, like I left this speaker running, but I used the bottom to kind of fill the stage out through the extension in the back. And it was just like the most inspired I'd felt in forever, because it was just, it didn't sound like anything in particular that like would shoot me in a particular stylistic direction. It was just very wide open, and I just fell in love with it. And so I've stayed with it. I've still got the that Showman cab is actually out in the trailer. At the end of this last tour, what I ended up getting was, I love Michael Bloomfield. He's a huge hero of mine. And Michael, before he played mostly Fender amplifiers, he had all these weird off-brand, things that he would get in pawn shops,
Yeah.
And so I've kind of gotten in the habit of, I want to try and collect all of them, because if you can find them, most of them are pretty rare, and if you can find them, they're usually relatively cheap, and they're kind of cool, man. So this is an Epiphone Futura that he used with the Paul Butterfield Blues Band, and he also used it with Dylan, like at Newport. When you hear him like playing Maggie's Farm and Tombstone Blues and all that, Bloomers was playing through Futura. And so I found this in Chicago, and I'd always wanted one. They're really rare. They don't come up for sale often. So I just bought it, and we went through it and got it working. It's really strange because it's actually got 4 8-inch speakers, and they're all in weird places. Like they're not, and it's kind of like a Gibson Falcon, but like blown up. It's got this really trashy sounding reverb that, and it's got this weird pitch shifting kind of vibrato, which I generally leave on a little bit on this one because I run both amps at the same time. So you run them together? Yeah, I run them together because this thing caves in on itself. The Epiphone, like, it's so compressed, and it just kind of sounds like a fuzz pedal, even though it's not, And then this is really pretty, and I usually use way too much reverb because I like reverb. And then, if I want to use tremolo that's really apparent, I'll turn the tremolo just on. That's what the switch up there is for, because I'll turn it on and off, and during improvisation stuff I'll come back here and fuck with the speed and intensity and stuff.
Has this changed your stage volume?
It has, but to be honest with you, really, it's changed the frequencies the most. That's the biggest change. Because the volume. Because at the end there, I was using 100 watt, but I was pulling 2 tubes from it. Oh, okay. And I did that for a long time. Like the new record that came out back in January is mostly this one 6900 watt with 2 tubes pulled, and then I've also got in the trailer. I've got this old Trainer from the '70s that I really like. That's this weird amplifier that sounds really good, and that's on some of the songs on the record. So that Trainer kind of started this germ in my brain, of like maybe some funkier amps that people maybe don't necessarily want. The thing with the Marshall though is like even when we're in a small room like this place or something, they're so directional. Yes. That like, if I put like a half stack right here and turned it to blow into this wall, I mean, it might be a little louder than this, but it was more than anything, it just frequency-wise, the Marshall kind of tons of low end, tons of low mid, and not a lot of high, So it's like this now. It's like I'm sitting specifically in my frequency range. Like there's no low end coming from me. There's no low mid coming from me. I'm just sitting right in my range, and it's like it makes the drums sound bigger. It makes the bass sound bigger. I mean, we've come down, probably, I don't know. I mean, if I had to guess, maybe 2 dB at the most, or something like that, which is a lot, especially when you get into like once you get above like what is it, 105 or something. It's like the increments get drastically bigger. But that wasn't the reason for it at all. I mean, it was because I wanted, something that was gonna inspire me.
Well, the deluxe reverbs are known to kick ass.
Yeah, and this
great
thing,
amps.
You gotta understand, man. Like, this thing is like, there's no piece of equipment I've ever owned that I've used as much as this thing. It's like this thing. Like, I became a decent musician on this thing. Like, this was every single night, every day for years of important years for me. So it feels good to have it out, and we got a nice road case for it. So I'm gonna take it all over the world, and I'm gonna take this with me now and have spares in Europe and stuff, because we're going back to Europe where I'll have some spares. I'm trying to find more of these though, because I really want to get a few more of these. One popped up on Reverb 2 days ago, and the guy's wanting way more for it than I think it's worth. But I may buy it anyway because I think this is great. But
then you mic these through the PA.
Yeah, we Dylan, our front of house, he does all that, and I guess, since we're at, we all like, I talk about my shit all the time, but, Adam, these are Adam's old 70s, I think they're 76s. They're the, hey Adam, are these, how many ply are these?
They're 6 ply.
6 ply, so they're a little louder. And then he's really into cymbal. Actually, this is the old cymbal, right? This is the. Anyway, he's over there talking. We like drums. I'm a frustrated drummer myself. So, he's got this nice old kit. He's got a real nice old Superphonic. That snare drum is is a real Superphonic that are really desired and go for quite a bit of money. Alad really likes the old tuck and rolls, and we always mic it, but then he also, that little DI back there is known as the Motown DI, because the transformers in it is actually the transformer that was used in the DIs at Motown.
Cool.
And Alad actually made that. Dave Scholes from Widespread Panic actually is using one of those DIs now out with Panic and Hardworking. We saw them last week at the Summer Camp Festival in Illinois, and there it was. But anyway, that thing sounds ridiculous. It's the best sounding DI I've ever heard, because I don't really like DIs, but that thing it's got so much character. So anyway, we blend the two now, and I think.
Is that a vintage tambourine?
No, it's just there if I feel like getting funky. And I guess I'll show you Alad's bass, because Alad's got this fun old 66 P bass that was stripped in like the 70s, I think, and put some labella flats on it. And this is Alad's weapon, and he loves Duck Dunn, and he's got a fro. He's got a corncob pipe that he smokes on stage. We like it.
Do you stick with any particular brand of strings and gauges?
Yeah, Diodario. Diodario has been really good to me for a long time, and I use. I was using the 9.5s for a minute because I liked them through the Marshall, because it actually thinned out the guitar a little bit, going a little lighter, it thinned it out. But now that I'm doing this, I went back up to regular 10s. Like I said, on the Telecaster, I've been going back and forth between flatlines and pure nickels, because it kind of mellows it out. And also, like, I'm playing more slide on the Telecaster, and so it kind of, I don't know, like, through this, it kind of, with open tunings and stuff like that, the flatlines and stuff sound really good. But it just depends on my mood that day. Right now, there's a set of pure nickels on there, but and then just, Dunlop picks. I've been using these Old-Tex things for a long time. That the yellow clear things sound really good. And then slides, I'm going back and forth because I've been using the old Corsidans for a long time. But I also, it's over there, I've also been using a brass one. Sometimes it depends on what I want, because the glass is prettier if I want it to be pretty. But there's a couple of things that we do now that like are kind of nastier, and so it's like the metal is nastier sounding.
Right.
So I'm kind of going back and forth, even like during the show, like depending upon what song we're gonna do. It's like if we're gonna do this, there's like a couple of songs in particular where I'll use the metal slide, because I think it just sounds crappier in a good way. And And yeah, I mean, I just divine noise cables, and I just got this passive splitter that splits it, and yeah, and the
Great.
speakers are stock in this, and this is that vintage 30 that's been in there for a million years, and yeah.
Well, we're looking forward to the show tonight.
Well, I appreciate it, man. We're gonna have fun. Things have been good lately, and
How's the knee?
I'm good. I'm wearing a brace because I don't want to go through that pain again.
Oh, I bet.
But
That
it was
terrible.
pretty horrific. But I'm great right now. I'm pretty much fully recovered. But it was a hell of an ordeal to get through. I'm grateful to be on the other side of it.
Yeah.
The first show that we did that I did with the Deluxe was in Louisville, and that was my first show I got to stand after the accident. So it was actually kind of a interesting, kind of cathartic, experience where it was like, it was like this was very freeing, but also I was getting to stand again. So I was like, this is a good day. So, but anyway, but yeah, the guitars I switched some out. I've got my prototype from the CC run that I really love.
Right.
That the last long tour that was like 83 shows. I used that a ton on that tour. I love that guitar. And there's a couple other newer Les Pauls I'll bring in and out. I've got my own my Telecaster that I played in the club days that I've been bringing out some, and an old Strat, an old '59 Strat I play sometimes, and then of course the Burst, and it's a huge honor in my life to get to play that thing,
Yeah.
So she'll be coming back out here soon. She was, I've had her about 2 years now, and we used it for the majority of the shows, but going back to Red feels really comfortable for me right now. It's just because I can do things with Red I can't do with the Les Paul. The wiggle thing
Right.
I was talking about. It's just two very different kind of instrument, and when we were out for months at a time, I'll bring a lot more guitars, but this, because we're just out for 2.5 weeks, and then we go back to Europe for 6 weeks. It was just
Right.
a couple of guitars, do it. So, but anyway, I appreciate
awesome.
you doing this, and hope I haven't bored anybody, and hope I haven't ticked anybody off.
We appreciate you taking
So-
the time to do it.
Well, I appreciate you, man, and the forum's been an incredible place of support for me, and I'm really grateful, and just keep trying to do the best I can.
Yeah. We enjoy your contributions.
Well, I appreciate you guys, man. So, well,
Okay. Awesome.
may the tone be with you guys. All right.
Okay.
See you.